Apo Reef. Apo Reef is a coral reef system in the Philippines situated in the western waters of Occidental Mindoro province in the Mindoro Strait. Encompassing 34 square kilometers 13 sq mi, it is considered the world's second largest contiguous coral reef system and is the largest in the country. The reef and its surrounding waters are protected areas administered as the Apo Reef Natural Park ARNP. It is one of the best known and most popular diving regions in the country and is in the tentative list for UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Geography. Apo Reef Can is about 15 nautical miles 28 km. It is separated from Main Island by the Apo East Pass of the Mindoro Strait. Politically, the reef lies within the jurisdiction of the province of Occidental Mindoro in region Roman 4B of the Philippines and more specifically of the municipality of Sablayan. Tourism activities are administered by the local government of Sablayan and the local office of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources DENR. Reef system. Apo Reef is a roughly triangular coral atoll formation approximately 26 kilometers 16 mi from the north to the south tip and 20 kilometers 12 mi from east to west. It is separated by two lagoon systems, the North and South Lagoons, which are bounded by narrow reef platforms. It is 34 square kilometers 13 sq mi of almost triangular northern and southern atoll-like reefs separated by a deep channel that is open to the west. The channel runs east to west from 1.8 to 30 meters 5 ft 11 in to 98 ft 5 in deep, with a fine white sand bottom, numerous mounds and patches of branching corals under the deep blue water. The North Lagoon is an enclosed triangular coral reef platform, partly exposed during low tide. It is relatively shallow with depths of about 210 meters, 6 ft 7 and 32 ft 10 in, while the South Lagoon is an inverted triangular coral platform enclosed on two sides and is about 30 meters 98 ft in depth. Likewise, reef limestone and coralline sand on the east and southeastern sides dominantly underlie the area. Islands. The main geographical feature of Apo Reef is submerged, but three islands mark it on the surface: the Apo Island, Apo Menor locally known as Binangon, and Cayos del Bajo Keys of the Bank, locally known as Tinankapin. The islands are uninhabited. Since the declaration of no-take zone policy at Apo Reef Natural Park in 2007, only protected area personnel and members of the Task Force Marlin Marine and Apo Reef Law Enforcement for Nature, who are tasked to implement protection and conservation work at the park. Apo Island. The largest is Apo Island at 22 hectares 54 acres with mangroves and beach vegetation. The reef surrounding the island extends to 0.80 kilometers 1/2 mi in places. Outside the lagoonal mangroves in the eastern and southern sides of Apo Island, the soil is sandy to sandy loam that has less silt and clay particles, while the lagoonal mangroves have a sandy loam to clay loam soil, underlain by decomposed plant residues or coarse materials. Apo Island is separated from Apo Reef by a narrow, deep channel. The island is about 23 nautical miles 43 km, 26 mi from Mindoro, and about 20 nautical miles 37 km, 23 mi from Nanga and Tara Islands, the nearest of the islands off Busuanga Island on the western side of the Mindoro Strait. The Apo Reef Light, situated on the northeast part of the island. The island is situated at a 2.5-hour navigation 204 Tidic from Sablayan by pumpboat Banca. The island houses a permanent ranger base which monitors the national park. An administrative desk collects the environmental fees. It is possible to stay overnight in tents subject to certain conditions. Very limited facilities are available onshore to protect the island's fragile ecosystem. Apo Menor Islet. Apo Menor is located near the western end of Apo Reef, about 2.4 kilometers 1.5 mi east of Apo Island. It is a rocky limestone island with relatively little vegetation. Cayos del Bajo. Cayos del Bajo are flat coralline rock formations with no vegetation on the northern lagoon near the eastern edge of the reef. At low tide, many small rocks are dry on the reef, particularly along its north side. Scuba diving. 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 The main activity of the reef relates to its underwater quality. Scuba diving and snorkeling in Apo Reef area are exceptional due to the quality of the flora, the fauna, and the clarity of the water and white sand. Many species can be observed in deep or shallow waters, in particular sharks, giant Napoleons, and manta rays. Conservation history. The Apo Reef is a protected area of the Philippines classified as a natural park encompassing 274.69 square kilometers, 106.6 sq mi. Of the total area, 157.92 square kilometers, 60.97 sq mi comprises the Apo Reef Natural Park, while the remaining 116.77 square kilometers, 40. Prior to its declaration as a protected area, Apo Reef was first officially declared a marine park by then Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos in 1980. This was followed with the local government of Sablayan declaring the reef a special tourism zone and marine reserve 3 years later. In 1996, the entire reef was declared a protected natural park by then President Fidel Ramos. In 2006, the Protected Areas and Wildlife Bureau of the Philippine Department of Environment and Natural Resources submitted the reef to the UNESCO World Heritage Center for consideration as a World Heritage Site. Following a survey by the local chapter of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, fishing within the reef was banned by the Philippine government in September 2007. The marine park opened for tourists to help generate funds for its protection, as well as provide an alternative livelihood for hundreds of fishermen in the area. All people accessing Apo Reef need to pay an environmental fee. Marine biodiversity.